y'all. Welcome back to this week's episode of AMA Friday with Amy Miller, recruiting in yoga pants. So I was recently tagged in a post. Thank you for this, ma'am. It was a good question. Wanting to know, how do I respond to recruiters who message me with a job spec for which I clearly don't have the right skill set? Has this ever happened to you? I think this has happened to us all, and we are going to talk about it today because you know what? This pisses me off more than a lot of bad recruiter behavior. This is right up there with some of the worst of what my industry does. So I want to dig into this, and I want to give job seekers some things to think about, ways to respond or not, and also maybe little tip for the recruiters watching on how to improve your outreach. I have said for years, and I believe this wholeheartedly, that not every message deserves a response. It just doesn't. We can argue about it. Put a cape on you and be super mad. But the reality is, not every message deserves a response. Recruiting is a game of interruption. We are stepping into someone's inbox with information that they did not ask for and asking them to invest time into a process that they did not opt into. Okay? It's kind of a terrible job if you think about it. Recruiting is awful. But I love it, and I've been doing it a long time, and I'm not qualified to do anything else. So here we are. But I do believe recruiters provide a ton of value. I think it's important to make those calls, send those messages, and it's an opportunity to help bring people together. One of the things I love most is being able to call somebody or bring an opportunity to them that they never knew existed or never thought would be their dream job. And through building that relationship and building that rapport and helping them navigate whatever the process looks like, to have them come out on the backside with, wow, this is the greatest job I've ever had. This is the most money I've ever made. You're the best recruiter I've ever worked with. That's a great feeling, right? I'm not saying that always happens, but I think recruiting is awesome. And I think we provide value, and I think we are such an important part of this whole hiring ecosystem. I really do. But I think a lot of us are just out there really not putting our best foot forward. And that's what I want to talk about this week. So recruiters have a responsibility to send clearly targeted messages to the right prospect. So the question was asked, what do I do with this? How do I respond to this? What is driving it? So I want to break down, why do recruiters do this and what is the end game? So the reality is, a lot of recruiters just simply don't know better. They think that, they've been given a template, they've been given a directive, you got to go, email 100 people a day, those kinds of things. That's what they've been taught. And the reality is, they've been taught wrong. I said it. If you are focused solely on volume, if you are focused solely on hitting some mythical number that your boss came up with, you're doing it wrong. That's number one. Number two, recruiters do need to know their numbers. They need to know their metrics. They need to understand, okay, if I need to make 20 hires and 20 hires, I'm making an offer to 1 in 3 that we interview, I got to have 60 interviews. And if we're only interviewing half of the people that we're submitting to a hiring manager, I got to submit 120 people. And for me to submit 120 people, I got to reach out to 1,200 of them because only 1 in 100 is responding to me. Something wrong with your messaging, okay? First of all. But that's the kind of recruiter math that's happening that often drives this bad behavior. So, if any recruiters out there are struggling with this, or you think I'm crazy, or you think, oh, really? You're so smart? Well, why don't you tell me how to do it? Challenge accepted. Send me an email, amy@recruitinganyogapants.com. Put better messaging in the subject line. You and I will have a chat. Okay? All right. Bring your hardest to fill rock. I'll give you a pitch. Okay. So what is a job seeker to do with this? This is what I want to get to. There's a few different ways you can reply to this, right? One is no reply at all, and that's okay. I want you to give yourself permission right now to not expend any emotional energy on people who don't deserve it. I don't care if they're the most popular recruiter at the most famous company on the planet. You don't owe that person shit. Okay? Now, you should be kind. You should be respectful. If you do decide to reply, you probably shouldn't cuss them out, even though you may want to. It's just not nice. Didn't your mom tell you that? But you don't owe that person anything. And that's what I want you first and foremost. Rule number one. Let me write that down. Rule number one. You owe no one your time. You don't. You do not owe a random stranger who decided to send you a message your time, your energy, or your effort. You get to decide that. You get to say, this is worth my time to respond to. This is interesting to me. There's a clear call to action here. There's something about this message that resonated. Those are the people that you respond to. So number one, you owe no one your time, energy, and effort. Number two, you can respond, and one of my favorites, so this is my favorite response, okay? When I get these messages, I respond to about 1 in 20 of the bad ones. I try to respond to all the good ones. If I didn't respond to you, do with that what you will. Okay, but you can reply and simply say, what about my background made you think I'm a fit for this role? If you're sending me a message, I'm a recruiter, and you're sending me a message for a 6-month contract as a business analyst in New Jersey, and you know I'm a recruiter in Seattle, what about my background made you think I'd be a fit for this role? Ask. Ask for more details. Ask for information. How did you end up in my inbox, sir? Ask the question. No shame in that. Ask for more details. So this is also a good response for the very vague messaging. Oh, I came across your profile and I'm recruiting people like you. Okay. Tell me more. What do you got for me? Who's the company? How much does it pay? Ask all those important questions. Ask all the things that you want to know so that you know if this is, again, worth your time, energy, and efforts. You don't get that back, y'all. Any time that you waste chasing crappy recruiters is an hour of your life you don't get back. I just want you to do that more effectively, okay? So ask for more details. What about my background is a fit? What can you tell me about the role? Anything that you want to know before you take a specific next step and call to action, okay? Last thing I'll leave you with, because we are getting dangerously close on time here. It is okay to not feel obligated to do anything with that information. Even if it's the nicest message, even if it's the most well-targeted, if it's not for you, that's okay. It is absolutely okay to say, thanks, but no thanks. It's okay. I know a lot of job seekers worry about, especially if you're actively on the market, you're looking for work, you're maybe struggling with underemployment or unemployment, you kind of want to grasp at everything that looks like a life vest, right? You got recruiters tossing the rings in the sea. Not all of them are meant for you, my friend. Okay? It is okay to not respond asking for more information and a clear call to action, or respond with a no thank you if you choose. I understand, don't want to burn bridges, don't want the recruiter to think you're a jerk, and never call you again. It's fine. You owe No one. Your emotional labor. Okay? Recruiters, if you want to know how to do better, Amy at recruitingandyogapants.com. Better messaging in the subject line. Job seekers, same for you. Same rules apply in the other direction. A lot of you are doing the same thing to recruiters and hiring managers. You're sending those messages that lack clarity, that frankly don't deserve a response. Send me a message too. Better messaging in the subject line. Tell me if you are a job seeker or recruiter, and I will tell you what to do next so that we can get you some clarity and better responses. All right. See you next week.